Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to another episode of Ramadan Daily Dose. Allah Azza wa Jalla says in Surah Al-Baqarah, chapter number 2, verse 186, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. وَإِذَا سَأَلَكَ عِبَادِي عَنِّي فَإِنِّي قَرِيبٌ أُجِيبُ دَعْوَةَ الدَّاعِ إِذَا دَعَانِ فَلْيَسْتَجِيبُوا لِي وَلْيُؤْمِنُوا بِي لَعَلَّهُمْ يَرْشُدُونَ. In this verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he says to him, when my servants ask you about me, O Muhammad, when they ask you concerning me, indeed, verily I am near. I answer the call of the caller who calls upon me, so let them respond to my call in belief, with worship and obedience, so that I may rightly guide them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about dua here, supplication, invoking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, asking Him for something. And this verse is right in the middle of the verses talking about Ramadan and about fasting. It's beautiful. The only other topic Allah addresses in the middle of these verses about Ramadan and fasting is dua. And that goes to show how important dua is in this month, and how it is readily accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When it comes to our relationship with Allah Azza wa Jal, there are no limits to what He can do. He can do the possible, and He can do the impossible. Nothing is out of His control. Nothing is difficult for Him. He created the laws of the universe, and by the same token, He can also change those laws to His liking. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is capable of all things. We know this. We understand this. But do we really, really feel it? Do we truly believe this in our hearts? Do we truly have this belief, or do we tend to forget about the majesty of Allah Azza wa Jal? If we could just wrap our heads around the might, the greatness, the extent to which His rule spans over, which is everything, if we could just begin to wrap our minds around this, then we might then view the obstacles that we face in our lives a bit differently. If we could just open our hearts to the fact that Allah Azza wa Jal is capable of all things, no problem would be unsolvable, no obstacle would be impossible, no mountain unconquerable, and no goal unattainable. So why should we limit ourselves when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is limitless? Why do we stress ourselves so much? Why do we worry ourselves so much? Why do we destroy ourselves so much? When the King of all kings, who holds in His hand the kingdom of all kingdoms, it contains all kingdoms, the King of all kings tells us, ask and He will give. In countless ahadith, in many, many verses, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us, ask and He will give. We as humans, we're powerless. There's only so much we can do. And because we are limited, we unknowingly translate and attribute this limit to Allah Azza wa Jal, which is wrong. So when we face the world, when it's big, full of problems, full of every kind of obstacle waiting to bring us down, we forget to turn to the Master, to the Creator, to the Maker of those problems, to the Creator and Maker of those solutions. We forget that everything is in His hands, and that all we need to do is ask. So choose the right time to ask, in the right place, in the right state. This is the month of Ramadan. Ask away.